Picture pom-poms, sunlight, and complete mayhem. Ming is seen leaning over a sumptuous seaside table in the video. She bombards Evelyn with bombshell after bombshell, her eyes flashing with resolve. As rumors of treachery turn into direct allegations, fans are stunned. Was Evelyn's investigation into Chantel's family really fruitful? When Evelyn's face lost its color, there were a lot of motions. In a moment, her usual poise was broken. You can just feel the tension igniting through your screen as the family was split apart in an instant. However, it is just the start. Idle rumors are only one aspect of Ming's expose. She reveals a wealth of purported communications, covert recordings, and backdoor schemes that implicate Evelyn in orchestrating this mother-daughter drama. Jackie's vicious response was captured on camera, creates a battleground of slamming doors and insulting comments out of this beachfront retreat. Will friendships be permanently shattered by these disclosures, or will loyalty endure? Because nothing is off limits and every secret has a cost in the world of BBS 12, stay tuned as we examine every explosive moment. As Ming took a leisurely drink of her iced tea, she relaxed in her chair with the wind blowing over her hair. She was ready to unleash a hurricane that seemed worlds away from the calm setting of pom-poms and blue waves. Confusion flashed over Evelyn's face as she listened closely while wearing a flowing sundress. I'm always honest, you know? Ming started off with a quiet but determined voice. However, I have more to reveal today than just tea. Evelyn's body tensed up. The happy holiday atmosphere vanishes in a flash. Sensing the tension, Denise looked between them. Sitting close by, Chantel left her phone on the table. With narrowed brows, Evelyn questioned, "What are you talking about?" Ming's eyes were flaming as she leaned forward. She continued, "You've been digging," in a voice that trembled with repressed rage. "You were trying to find out about Chantel's family? You were texting Denise to ask questions about Chantel's past. Would you mind explaining?" Evelyn's lips parted, and she looked to Denise and then to Chantel as if they would step in, but both of them remained silent, their expressions unreadable. "I saw the messages," Denise said, her voice breaking the silence. "And you wanted details about Chantel's childhood, parents, and even her college years. You framed it as concern, but we all know why you really wanted them." Evelyn's hand fluttered to her chest, her voice trembling. "That's not true," she protested, her voice trembling. "I was just making conversation," Ming said, leaning back. "You're not that clueless. We all know you thrive on secrets," she said. When Jackie eventually intervened, she was resting against a nearby palm with her arms crossed. "Give her a chance to speak," she urged, but her tone suggested skepticism, and Evelyn's eyes were fixed on Jackie with a flash of desperation. "Jackie, please, you're familiar with me. Why would I do that?" Ming's smile was thin, almost predatory. "'Cause Evelyn, you're obsessed. It's obsessed with being seen as the one who knows everything. You crave power control, so you dig." The words landed like stones in the sand. And for a moment, the only sound was the distant crash of the waves. Chell rose, her shoulders squared. "Stop tiptoeing around," she said, voice firm. She held her phone up, revealing a string of texts. "Here from last week, you asked me about my mother's well-being. Then suddenly pivoted to my dad's business troubles. When I asked why, you said it was for a fundraiser baloney." Evelyn's eyes darted to Chantel's phone, then back to Ming. "You're twisting things," she snapped, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. Ming reached across and swiped through the text, pausing on one that read, "I need dirt on Chantel." Jackie looked at it, and then back at Evelyn, her face tightening. "That's enough," Jackie replied, her jaw set. "Either you own up or we walk away." "Please help me," she begged. Evelyn's face flushed crimson. She opened her mouth, then closed, it unable to form words. Fat's silence stretched heavy with unspoken accusations. Finally, she whispered, "I was trying to protect her." Chantel let out a harsh, disbelieving chuckle. "Keep her safe," she sneered. "How does spying on your friend protect you?" "It's betrayal, plain and simple." The drama intensified when Ming pulled out a small recorder and set it on the table. "I thought you'd deny everything," she said, pressing play. "I just want to know what I'm dealing with," Evelyn said, her voice echoing in the silence. "I need to understand her weakness." Jackie's eyes widened as she listened to the confession, her face a mask of hurt and incredulousness. "How could you?" she murmured, her hands shaking. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," she said, her voice raw. "I thought it was harmless curiosity." Chantel shook her head, tears glinting in her eyes. "This trip was supposed to be about bonding, but instead we're here exposed. Dot." As the recorder's playback ended, Ming stood smoothing her dress. "You deserve the truth. What do you think, Jackie?" Jackie closed her eyes, drawing a shaky breath. "I think mothers don't turn on each other. You betrayed my trust. You used Denise as a pawn." Denise looked away, regret and guilt mingling in her gaze. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I should have said no." Evelyn suddenly rushed forward, her voice shaking as she wailed, "I'm sorry," her words reverberating like a gavel strike. "I was afraid of losing my place, of being left out," she said. "Fear doesn't excuse betrayal," Ming replied in a cold voice, her face briefly softening before hardening once again. "You crossed a line. You'd better explain yourself or don't bother coming back," Chantel said, her face a raging maelstrom of pain and rage. Jackie gently put a touch on Evelyn's arm and whispered, "We can fix this, but only if you own up." Evelyn gave a nod. Denise dried her eyes and murmured, "I want my friendship back." "But trust is difficult to come by." "I'll do whatever it takes," she said, her tears still streaming down her face. Chantel looked at her, then at Evelyn. "Prove it." At that moment, a new notification chimed on Chantel's phone. She glanced down, eyes widening. "What now?" Ming asked. Brows knitting together. Chantel scrolled, then showed the screen a video clip recorded earlier that morning of Evelyn speaking to a crew member about digging up secrets. The crew member laughed and replied, "That's hazardous ground." "This wasn't just about me," Chantel murmured softly, her finger hovering over play. "She's been doing this to everyone." Jackie's face palled as she realized the implications. "We're not done," Chantel said, voice low but determined. "This trip just turned into an investigation." Ming nodded, a plan forming behind her eyes. "Let's get to the bottom of it." Evelyn sank back, the weight of her actions bearing down on her. "What have I done?" "We need evidence," she said in a businesslike tone. "Denise, you have the texts. Chantel, you have the video. Jackie, keep an eye on things." "We need evidence," she whispered, settling into her seat as the two women looked at each other. "Are you ready to unearth more secrets?" The tone changed from confrontation to clandestine operation. The drama was just getting started, and the women of BBUS 12 were about to discover that the cost of secrets could be far greater than they ever imagined. Ming slipped away from the table, leaving Chantel and Jackie conferring quietly by the palapa, while Denise hovered nearby, wringing her hands as if torn between loyalty and guilt. "Keep an eye on Evelyn. See if she makes another move." Jackie nodded, determined to settle over her like armor. "I'm on it." Chantel put her phone in her pocket and Ming stood. "Then we'll meet back here in an hour with whatever we find." The beach loungers behind them were empty, but the weight of their scrutiny weighed down on Evelyn like a physical force as she stood at the edge of the seating area, her sundress billowing in the breeze, eyes darting as if seeking a way out. Chantel whispered, "I'm going to check her room first." She motioned for Jackie to follow, and the two moved off through the sandy path towards the villa. Ming watched them go, then turned to Denise. "You up for acquiring those texts?" Denise swallowed and took her phone out of her bag. "Yeah," she said, opening the messaging app, her fingers shaking as she scrolled through the conversation. "Wow," she breathed. "She even set up a meeting with that private investigator." Ming arched an eyebrow yesterday. "Private investigator?" Denise nodded. "She's been trying to look into everyone's past," she said, eyes widening at the screen. "There's a payment confirmation. $2,000. Ming's mouth curled into a satisfied smile. Bingo. Chantel and Jackie sneaked into Evelyn's suite, which had an unlocked door, a bed that was neatly made, and a faint smell of coconut sunscreen. Chantel picked up a stack of papers that were strewn all over the desk. "Look at this," she whispered, pulling out a folder labeled Research. There were pictures from each friend's wedding, Denise, the birthday of Jackie's daughter, even Ming's graduating from college. Scribbled notes filled the margins. Leverage, emotional trigger, insecurity. Leverage, emotional trigger, insecurity. Chantel's jaw tensed. Jackie's breath hitched, and dirt began to accumulate. Jackie walked around the desk and found a little leather-bound diary tucked away below. Operation Protect Me was the page she saw when she opened it. There were intricate plans below, which caused tension between Chantal and Denise. Turn Jackie and Ming against one another. As the sole reliable friend, she isolates herself. Jackie said in a low, stern voice. "This is psychotic." The bathroom door squeaked open at that moment. Towing her hair, Evelyn came out and froze when she saw the two ladies searching through her belongings. Her eyes were wide as she asked, What are you doing? Chantel whirled, holding the pictures. Ask her that, she said in a cold tone. Evelyn turned back to the man and said, Why do you have our lives laid out like evidence? Door. She stumbled. I was worried about us, she said. As Jackie threw the diary onto the bed, she said, I only wanted to understand you to keep us safe. Secure. This is stalking. As Chantel moved forward, the space appeared to be filled with the sound of breaking waves. You betrayed all of our confidence. Tears came to Evelyn's eyes. I apologize, she sobbed. It wasn't my intention. She crossed her arms with the key. Apologies won't make this better. Ming and Denise heard loud voices outside. Denise called. They need support. Ming gave a nod. Come on. The tension increased as they strode towards the suite. Chantel took Evelyn's arm inside. She growled. You must tell us everything. Evelyn's shoulders trembled as she said, Every secret, every plan. I felt alone. I was afraid you would replace me. Chantal's hold relaxed. Evelyn's voice wavered as she said, We could have talked. Jackie sneered. I know. I lost my head. We no longer have a friendship with you. As Ming and Denise came in behind them, a thick stillness fell. Ming took in the view. Chantel gave Evelyn a fierce look. Jackie folded her arms. Denise was standing at the entrance, unsure. Hey, Ming remarked in a composed but commanding tone. She gestured for them to stand in a circle and said, Lay it all out. No more lies. Evelyn's face crumpled as she said, Once we were together, you owe us the truth. What about those recordings you mentioned on the beach earlier? I did record some conversations. I thought if I had proof, I could protect myself. Ming's eyes narrowed. Protect yourself from what? Evelyn swallowed. Being abandoned. So you manipulated us to feel sorry for you? Jonelle asked. Evelyn closed her eyes. I panicked. I didn't know how to reach out, so I did this. Ming shook her head. This isn't reaching out. It's abuse. Denise stepped forward. There's more, she said, her voice shaking. I saw payments to that investigator and I found messages. She said she was planning to leak stories to the tabloids. Evelyn's eyes widened. No, I never meant that. Chantel looked accusingly at Ming. Ming pulled up the investigator's invoice on her phone. July 3rd, $2,000. Purpose, background check for personal security. Evelyn's shoulders slumped. I thought I could help if I found something. Jackie sneered. Help! You wanted to expose us. Evelyn fell to her knees. I'm so sorry. I thought I was protecting you from betrayal, but I was the one betraying you. The group fell silent as Evelyn's sobs reverberated. We've all made mistakes, she said. Ming interrupted. We can't just pretend this didn't happen. Maybe this can be a turning point. Evelyn genuinely wants to make amends. We need a plan. Denise wiped her cheeks. Trust has to be rebuilt, Chantel nodded. We could set boundaries, have open conversations. And if she crosses those boundaries again, Evelyn looked up, desperation in her eyes. And if she crosses those boundaries again, I'll accept the consequences. Okay, Ming folded her arms. First step, delete all recordings. Return everything. You've taken. Ming's expression darkened. She's not done. Jackie's heart pounded. What video? Chantel tapped the screen and then showed them a thumbnail, a blurry clip of Jackie and her daughter at a playground. Jackie's face went pale. How did she get that? Evelyn looked shocked. I don't know. Chantel's fingers flew over her phone. Instantly, Chantel's phone pinged. She looked down, frowning. Another message. She read, We need to stop this before it goes public. Denise clenched her fists. We have to work together. Chantel straightened. Evelyn, if you want to earn our trust, you help us stop that leak. Evelyn nodded, determination replacing tears. I'll get in touch with the gossip group. I'll handle it. Ming exhaled. We move fast. No mistakes. Jackie looked at Evelyn warily. I want to believe you, she said quietly. The stakes had risen beyond petty spying, and now they faced the possibility of real damage to families and reputations as they gather their phones and information. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky in bruised purples and fiery orange as a fitting backdrop for their dramatic pact. The four women exchanged glances and formed a tenuous alliance. The sound of distant thunder rolled across the bay as if echoing their turmoil, and each woman knew that the coming hours would test the bonds they thought they understood. As the sky grew darker and rain clouds began to gather on the horizon, Ming checked her watch and said, Time's up. Chantel tapped at her phone, trying to find the source of the gossip group, and she reported, "I've narrowed it down to 2 admins, saying, one goes by Sebza, the other Island Insider. Both have access to our personal details." Jackie hovered over Chantel's shoulder, her face etched with anxiety. "What do we do now?" "You still have that investigator's contact," she muttered, pressing her lips together as she turned to face Denise. He stated he could assist with digital forensics to trace the leak back to the uploader, and Denise nodded, holding his phone. Ming nodded curtly. "Let's bring in professional help." "Evelyn, you handled the gossip group message. Denise will coordinate with the investigator. Chantel and I will trace the social media footprints." "Understood?" "Understood? I'm a concerned friend. Please remove the clip of Jackie's daughter. There's no news value and it's harming our friendship." "I'm a concerned friend. I'm a friend. Please remove the clip of Jackie's daughter. There's no news value and it's harming our friendship." Evelyn took a deep breath, her fingers shaking as she drafted a message to the gossip group. "Understand? Understand?" she said, trembling. Jackie's voice trembled. "We have to protect my daughter." Chantel glared at the phone. "We need another way." Ming thought about their options. "If we can identify the uploader, the investigator can threaten legal action." "They might back down." Chantal nodded. She opened the reply. "Send payment of $500 via Venmo and we'll delete it." Her stomach twisted. She looked up, shame and panic in her eyes. "They want money," Denise moaned. "Of course they do." Ming's jaw clenched. "Let's move this along more quickly." As Chantal and Ming dug into social media logs, opening tabs and cross-referencing timestamps Denise's page through her contacts to get to the investigator, she said in a hopeful voice, "He's responding. He can start tracing the upload within the hour." Ming exhaled. "Good. We stall the gossip group until..." Then Jackie bit her lip. "I don't want to see my daughter's face plastered everywhere." Evelyn moved closer. "I'll block the group. Delete any reposts." The women fell into tense silence, each struggling with guilt, fear, and determination. Outside, the first raindrops fell. Ming tapped her phone. "I've got Seabreeze's handle a private account with minimal posts, but a pattern of sharing insider information." Chantal clapped. "That's our lead." Ming nodded. "We'll focus on Sabzu first. We can prove they shared the clip." "We apply pressure." Denise's phone rang. She looked at the screen and saw it was Himtha, investigators on the line. She swiped and put it on speaker. "I'm ready," she said. The investigator's cool voice answered. "I've traced the clip's metadata. It originated from a device registered to a public Wi-Fi network at the beach bar you visited yesterday." Ming scowled. "So it's someone on staff?" The investigator confirmed. "Perhaps an employee or patron with access. I can subpoena the Wi-Fi logs, but the venue will need a push. We need to know who." The investigator went on, "Have a match soon." Denise nodded. "Thank you." Investigator hung up. Ming sighed. "We're close." Chantal insisted on going back to the beach bar to get clues in person, even though it was supposed to rain. "We need context," she said. "Seeing this scene might spark a lead." "What?" Jackie paused, then said, "It's raining." "We're already in crisis mode," Ming said, casting a peek towards the skies. "Come on." The only noises as they reluctantly climbed into Chantel's SUV and traveled the convoluted route to the pub were the buzz of the motors and the steady patter of rain on the windscreen. Nerves tightened. At the bar, mist curled around the neon sign. When Telltale pulled open the door, they were met by the smell of salt and spilt drinks. They went to the manager's office, where a nervous assistant waited. Ming smiled politely and said, "We're friends of the women in that video. We need to review the Wi-Fi login sheet." The assistant stammered, "We're under a privacy violation threat. This is about stopping potential blackmail." Chanel's patience snapped. Ming nodded firmly. Chanel's patience snapped. Ming nodded firmly. Ming tapped her phone and said, "I'll send this to the investigator. He'll confirm identity via employment records." Chantel looked at Evelyn and said, "Let me handle the message to the gossip group again. It's time I'll say I have evidence linking the leak to their member." Evelyn nodded. "Do it." Jackie hovered. "Be careful." Chantel took a deep breath and typed, "We know who you are." Ming's phone buzzed with an alert. Chantel's uploaded logbook photo had leaked on a gossip website. Captioned, "Friends turn detective villa drama intensifies." He sent the message. Back off or face legal action. A few seconds later, a flurry of typing sounds as the gossip group debated internally appeared. A reply appeared. We're checking. Hold tight, Denise exhaled. We did it. Ving's voice sounded flat, and Chantel's face plummeted. No, I assumed it was private. Jackie's jaw tightened. Why couldn't we deal with this quietly? Chantel swallowed. I underestimated them. Evelyn squeezed Chantel's hand. We'll deal with it. Ming paced, damn it. Every step forward is 2 steps back. Denise tried to reassure them. The investigator can still subpoena the bar. Formally expose the source of the leak. Chantel shook her head. The damage is done. The logbook pic is evidence of our desperation, not our innocence. Jackie's eyes glistened. She looked around the room and said, Ah, and it paints us as conspirators. We need a new tactic. We could take control of the narrative. Go public, admit our mistake, and frame it as protecting Jackie's daughter. That risks public shaming, Denise said. But it shows transparency. Chantel bit her lip. But it might work. Evelyn nodded. I'm terrified. Jackie closed her eyes. We'll craft a statement. Simple apology. Explanation of threat. Chantel rubbed her temples and said, Okay, let's draft it. They gathered around a laptop and wrote the statement, saying, We deeply regret recent actions taken in fear and frustration. Our priority has always been the safety and privacy of our loved ones. We acted imperfectly in trying to prevent a private video of a child from being spread, and we apologize for any breach of trust among us and with our fans. We hope you understand our intention was to protect, not to harm. Thank you for your support, Ming. Read it aloud. It's honest. Chantel hesitated. We should post it from a joint account, and Ming nodded. Jackie gave Evelyn a quick look. Are you certain? Evelyn took a steadying breath. Yes. Notifications surged as soon as Chantel pushed the publish button, with fans leaving comments that ranged from critical to complimentary. No. Jackie's heart thumped as she turned the page over. Mixed reactions, she whispered. Ming nodded. It's going to be messy, but at least we control the narrative. Chantel leaned back. Now we wait for the investigator's final report. Inside, the 4 women sat together, but the rain outside grew louder, beating against the windows like a countdown. Ming stared at the glowing screen as notifications poured in like raindrops. It's a storm of opinions, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the patter of water against the windows. Chantel leaned forward, scrolling through comments. Some fans are sympathetic, she noted. They see the apology as genuine. Bruised each other, knowing that the fallout from their actions would echo far beyond this stormy night. Loyalty had been tested, trust shattered and tentatively rebuilt. And the path ahead was uncertain, but for the time being, they had decided to face the public together in the hopes that their candor would pave the way for genuine healing. Others, however, are accusing us of being manipulative. With a look of weariness on her face, Jackie sank into a chair and said, I didn't think it would become this bad. We tried to do the right thing, and now we're under scrutiny, Denise said, shaking her head. He's finalizing the subpoena. Should have a name by midnight. Jackie hugged herself. Please let it be simple. Evelyn, still wet from the earlier storm, sighed. I don't know how much more drama I can handle. Ming smiled steadily. We've come this far. We'll finish strong. The investigator called just as the clock struck 11. Chantel answered on speaker. Enough of that for now. We need the investigator's report. We'll need statements from secondary recipients to build a case. Chantel frowned. So it's secondhand now, investigator agreed. It's a chain, but we have a solid starting point. Denise rubbed her temples. We need to trace those links. Jackie's voice trembled. I've confirmed the user Sharon72 is indeed Cheyenne Carter, barmaid at Siabzi. This morning, the venue provided logs linking that device to her employee ID. Legal action can proceed. Ming exhaled. The suggestion is to go after Anne first, then work upstream. Ming nodded to herself. Well, handle it, she said in a firm voice. Thank you for your help. The call ended, and they stared at each other in the dim light. The storm outside had gotten worse, with the wind rattling the veranda. Chantel broke the silence, saying, We have to confront Anne. Ming agreed, saying, We can do it discreetly. Maybe threaten legal action privately. Jackie hesitated. I don't want to scare her, but we can't let this continue. Evelyn nodded. Well, go as a group tomorrow morning. Ming rubbed her forehead. Tomorrow we face and at tonight we regroup. As the rain subsided, the women gathered around the low coffee table, nursing mugs of chamomile tea, while Chantal read aloud her drafted notice. Dear Ms. Carter, we have evidence linking you to the unauthorized sharing of private content. We demand immediate deletion of all copies and cooperation in identifying further recipients. Failure to comply will result in legal proceedings. She looked up. Does it read too harsh? Jackie shook her head. I'm going to draft the legal notice. She tapped away on her phone before Denise sank onto the couch. Ming continued. It's firm but fair. Include a deadline. 24 hours. Chantal tapped the screen. Done. Evelyn exhaled. I hope she listens. Denise sipped her tea. And that this ends here. Ming put her mug down. And soon the room was quiet except for the sound of the air conditioner and the distant thunder. The following morning dawned gray, and the villa felt heavy with anticipation. Ming plucked up the courage to lead the way to the beach bar, with Chantal and Jackie on either side of her. The neon sign of the bar flashed in the gloomy light as they followed, each engrossed in their own thoughts. They entered where the subtle scent of beer, spilt, and salt was there, and Chantal went up to the front desk. We're here to see Ann Carter, she began steadily. May we talk with her? She's off shift right now, the manager, a stout guy with a tough face, examined them wearily and remarked, but I can pass a message. Ming crossed an envelope over the counter and said, I'll give it to her. It's urgent. She needs to receive this notice today. The manager paused before picking it up. They left the bar with the envelope in Anne's possession, but no assurance of a timely response. Chantal turned to her friends and said, Now we wait again. Jackie's shoulders drooped. How many waits can one trip have? Ming sighed. Just one more. They went back to the villa in silence, the rumble of the town's gossip already roiling, and Chantal heard two locals whispering as they passed, those ladies from the reality show. Did you see their post? The rumors followed them home. Ming checked her phone, but there was still no response. Chantal checked her email, but there was nothing. Evelyn pressed her lips together, indicating that she must be scared. Denise bit her lip, asking, what if she leaks more? Chantal clenched her fists. The afternoon continued into the early evening, with lightning lighting the sky and a deafening crack. The veranda. I can't handle this tension. Ming placed a hand on her shoulder. Ming's voice softened. I just want my daughter's face off the internet. Jackie watched the rain. We'll protect her. Chantal's phone buzzed, and she looked at the screen, her eyes widening. Chantal opened the message. I'm so sorry. I panicked. I've deleted all files and told everyone to remove them. Please forgive me. Chantal read aloud carefully, then looked up. She complied. Thank God, Denise wiped her eyes. I hope that's the end, Chantal nodded. We should check with the investigator. Ming called the investigator. They confirmed deletion a few moments later. He reported that there were no traces on Anne's devices, but that the secondary recipient still needed to be identified. Shenlai. Great. Jackie shook her head. When does this become over? Ming looked at her friends' tired faces. It won't end until we find everyone involved. Denise moaned. One crisis at a time. The next step is to find out who got it from Anne. I've hit a wall. Ming rubbed her temples. So have I. Chantal closed her eyes. More detective work. That night, the group gathered around laptops. Chantal examined social media profiles connected to Anne's contacts. Denise cold-called acquaintances. Min kept an eye on gossip forums. Jackie went over any leftover chatter about her daughter. The hours passed, driven by coffee and resolve. At 3 a.m., Chantal snapped her laptop shut. We're tired. Chantal sank back. Perhaps we need a new strategy. Jackie's eyes sparkled. What if we make a public statement explaining the situation and identifying ourselves as a united front with no secrets? Ming thought. It's risky, but it might force the remaining leakers to back down. It's risky, but it might force the remaining leakers to back down. Chantal nodded slowly. It might change the narrative. Denise smiled slightly. At this point, I'll do anything. As dawn drew closer, they wrote a final joint post. We have accepted responsibility for our mistakes in attempting to protect our loved ones. We have settled the matter with those directly involved and are dedicated to transparency and accountability. Our attention is now on mending our friendships and safeguarding our families. For a moment, they let themselves breathe. The rain had stopped, and the air was cool and fresh. Chantel leaned against the railing, watching the calm ocean. "We did it," she whispered. Jackie put an arm around her. "We survived our own drama." They each read the text, then paused. Ming tapped post. The message appeared on their page. Reactions came in a flash. Some fans praised their candor, while others made fun of their melodrama. Denise leaned in and said, "And we did it on our terms," as Ming grinned at them both. "Companions?" she said softly. Evelyn stood apart, looking unsure, but then she stepped forward, joining the circle. "Friends," she said. They stood together looking out at the horizon, battered but unbroken, and they had no idea that one last twist was coming. As the first rays of morning peeked over the water, Ming's phone rang with a notification that a new video had been posted, this time from an anonymous source. The thumbnail showed all 5 women on the beach with the caption, "The real story revealed." Ming's breath caught, Chantel's heart pounding, Jackie's hand flying to her mouth, Denise's eyes widening, and Evelyn's face drained of color. As the sun rises on this maelstrom of secrets and schemes, one thing is certain: the drama is far from over. With loyalties tested and trust hanging by a thread, we're left wondering who will make the next move. Will Ming and Chantel discover the source of the anonymous video? The mystery wasn't over yet. The next revelation loomed just beyond the sunrise, promising more chaos, more betrayal, and more drama than they could have imagined.